Hello everybody and welcome back to MAC 2022, and we are back on the Star stand. We've done this already this week, haven't we, Paul?
We have, so you can actually find that stream. It was 11 o'clock on Monday morning. We toured the stand with Alec, but we're going to be doing it all again today, a little bit differently.
So what's different about today's
Okay, so we're going to
stream?
take each of the machines, certainly the new technologies, the SL10 and the SX38, look at those in detail with Alec, and then Gio's going to tour the stand with Matt Lee, actually, really honing in to the technicalities behind each model. Right,
on Monday, it's great actually, because of course it's Wednesday today, so on Monday, it was the first day, but by Wednesday I'm going to ask Steve what's been the most popular machine, why do you think it is? We're going to get some more gossip today,
I think I picked up from Monday, we talked about their engineering excellence, and you look at some of the demonstrations that they're doing on this stand, the parts that they're making, it really does show off their application support, their know-how, their knowledge of manufacturing and how to make a part very, very efficiently. And I think that's really comes across. I mean, the stand's been really busy. You've had your hot dog.
No, I haven't, not yet. No, I was planning the hot dog, so the hot dog is going to be here. They've got some vegan ones as well. So I said to Steve the other day, I said, Steve, why should everyone come to your stand? And he went, the hot dogs, Lindsay.
And I haven't even had one yet, but later.
Well, we're just a bit
busy.
But
we're also going to talk to customers as well, aren't we?
We're absolutely going to talk to some customers. So I say about 25 minutes time we're going to be going live with that tour, but first of all, should we see some of the customers?
Can I just ask you first, what have you picked up from the show so far in the last couple of days?
You know what, from the last couple of days I've picked up the change in industry, and I think everybody was really affected by COVID, if I'm honest. That's what I've really found, and I think everybody is so grateful to be back. And I'm going to say literally from the last hour as well, the aisles are full.
Definitely
literally full.
The busiest day today. Yesterday was busy, but you're right actually, we kind of have forgotten a little bit about COVID, although I know it's still around. But I've had a couple of engineers that have come on the stand and said that this is the first time they've been out in 2 years. I mean, we're out all the time, so we don't see it, but this is the first time they might have visited a trade show for 2 years or really been anywhere other than their machine shop. So
I think also, Paul, is what I've noticed, but I guess you probably can predict what I'm going to say, but automation, I just feel like everyone, I started at MTD, I think it was something like 5 years ago, and it was almost like that Industry 4.0, that automation. We were talking about it, but it was almost like that it wasn't actually here, but now it's here, and there hasn't been a stand that I've been on that hasn't got some form of automation on it. I mean, you're going to be talking later.
Well, I mean, we've got
one of the guys from Renishaw.
Ed from Renishaw is coming on. Actually, it might be.
Should we?
Yeah, let's get Ed on.
Bring Ed over. So I'll go this side.
Talking about metrology, and Lindsay makes a good point. What we've seen at this show so far is, automation is a big thing, isn't it? And you're working with Star here on your. Well, if you could explain what it is and the collaboration and how it works, because we will look at this in more detail as well during the stream. But
so the equator in this cell is basically measuring the parts as they come off the machine tool. The difficulty with these sliding head machines is you can't get probing into the machine. So because we can't get in at the manufacturing point, we then are unloading the parts with a FANUC robot, and then we're measuring the parts afterwards and updating the tool the offsets after that. So the benefit is we still get that measurement data, we're still able to control the process, but we're doing it separately so that the machine is left to cut metal and we can still control the process.
How does the relationship work? Where's the responsibility done like this, and how are Star to work with when it comes to developing these kind of automated cells?
So normally one of us will get contacted, whether it's Star, us, or FANUC in this instance, and we'll then pull the others in and we'll collaborate between the three of us. There's normally quite set lines of what's expected from each party. We've done a number of projects over the years, so we've built up those strong working relationships, and we can divvy out. Most of the automation work gets done in this sort of instance by FANUC. The machining would get specialised by Star, and then we would focus on the measurement side of it, and through the Ethernet connection, feeding that back to the machine tool to update the offsets.
And are you seeing a lot of this? I mean, we mentioned automation and the changes since 2018. What's your opinion of MAC 2022 so far and things that are different?
There is a massive change. I think a lot of industry in the UK is looking towards automation. I think especially since COVID and the lockdowns, they want to be able to run lights out. They want to be able to use their machine tools as much as possible. And if we do ever have something similar happen, hopefully not, at least your assets can keep working for you and you can keep the factory going. And a lot of it as well is getting those measurement results. If you're running lights out, you need to know that what you're running is good. You can't just press green and hope that everything that comes off is okay. So having that data, having that info, just gives everyone peace of mind.
And the Star machines, how do they perform? When the parts are being measured, are they always pretty much spot on?
Yeah, very good. I mean, ironically, in these sort of applications, we don't really do a great deal. Stars are pretty solid machines. A lot of the work we do is just monitoring the system to make sure that everything's working, and if there is a problem, we'll flag it up very quickly.
Right first time, that's ultimately what you're trying to do.
It is, yeah, they are very good. They sort of do us out of a job in some respects, but being able to be there as that extra hurdle is just really, really good peace of mind for the customer.
Stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much. We've also got another gentleman who's going to come on. I think he's had a couple of beers, actually, just as to calm his nerves. A lot of people do get quite nervous.
They do. And can I just mention as well, we've got our podcast coming up this afternoon at 3:30. It starts today, live podcast from our stand. If you didn't see last night's one, we had about 5 or 6 guests that came through on the podcast, and we'll be doing the same, and there'll probably be even more today, so we're looking forward to that.
So I've met Sam before from Yorkshire Precision Engineering, and there's quite a clan behind him because it's a family-run business, isn't it? Can you tell us a bit more about your company, Sam?
Yeah, it was started by my dad about 20 years ago, and now my dad's actually retired last year.
His dad, by the way, is just standing over here.
We've brought a lot of people down today. There's like 10 of us that we've brought down. We've grown from the first machine we got was a Star, 1 Star sliding head, and from there we've grown. We've got 11 Star lathes. We just took delivery of our most recent one in January, which has been it's been amazing. We just got the guide bush, non-guide bush system on it.
How's that going to help you? What's that going to do for you?
I was a bit sceptical, to be honest, at first. I didn't think I'd really use it, but then we got a job that was perfect for it. Swapped it over to the non-guide bush.
And what would that job be that made it perfect for it, for those that don't know what the guide bush is?
Well, we had to grip on like a 2mm ID, and we needed a 2mm OD. It was only very, very small, and it just gave us the rigidity. We could get a bigger drill in there. It just made sure we could get smaller bar ends and a lot more out of our bar. Because they were so small, we were getting a lot of parts out of it. I think it was like about 500 parts a bar, but then it went really from going from 300mm dimension bar ends to about 100mm.
Okay.
Over about 20,000 parts.
It's a big
made
saving.
like a big difference on material savings and everything. So
what about people, Star and ourselves, talk about these machines being very capable milling? Do you find that as well? Do you do jobs that are quite challenging that you may have thought before, I'm not going to be able to produce it on this sliding head lathe, but you have been able to?
Yeah. I mean, with the helps of like Solid Cam as well, which I know are working with Star, which we invested in. We're using their technology as well to try and help us do things that we didn't really think we could program before. So a lot of the polar milling and stuff we're getting.
And what are the challenges for manufacturers when you're making parts these days? Is it about process reliability? Is it about maximising productivity and getting as many parts off the machine as you can in a shorter space of time?
Yeah, I mean, it's reliability, which the Stars definitely give you. It's been able to hold the tight tolerances, and yeah, it's about getting them out the door as quick as possible. But the main thing for us is our quality and making sure we can run them manned. We run them manned 24 hours a day on a lot of our Stars. We've got the fire trace system on them as well, so if anything did go wrong, but touch wood, never has. The fantastic machine is just to leave them manned, running, and they, spit components out.
What have you seen here this week that you like, or today? Is your arm aching there?
Yeah, it really hurts. It really hurts. Something like that. Oh.
What have you seen here that you really like today?
The Step Cycle Pro technology looks incredible, really. Because
do you want to just tell us what that is? Because we are going to cover the Step Cycle Pro shortly.
Have you found out about it? I don't know if he's excited about it, so he's only just had a little bit of an intro.
Tell us what it is then, Sam.
Well, I don't know exactly. But
no, he's not been told about it yet.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to get on the stand. And so we only arrived about an hour ago, so I've sort of just been whizzing around.
But it is chip control, and is that something that you have a problem with at the company, or you could see that you could?
Yeah, definitely, and we use the HFT at the moment, but the issue with it sometimes with the HFT is it can increase our cycle times to where it's not really feasible to do it, whereas we could just run 5 components and put in a stop to take the swarf off, whereas the Step Cycle Pro in the stand controls your swerve and also doesn't reduce your cycle time, which is kind of what you want. Yeah.
You come a long way today.
Yeah. We've
I was just going to say, I've seen a picture of you, Sam, when you were about this big. Because it's in the office, isn't it? Yeah, because it's your mum, Sue. Is that her name? No, sorry, Linda. Sorry. But I remember Linda showing me in the offices. There's a picture of you and your brother when they were little at the company, and I think it was like a holidays, and you were there playing football or something. And then the two, you and your brother now have kind of now you're running the company.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit more about Yorkshire Precision.
My brother's the technical director, and we machine a lot of small turn parts up to, from anything down from 0.5 millimetre to 300 millimetre diameter. We've progressed over the years to evolve more and more into, we've started going into milling, and we've got a few more fixed heads. Our main core business is subcontract. It's on the star sliding heads. That's where we specialise, and really we want to grow with Star. We're actually looking for another machine today because we're looking to replace some of our older machines. We've had one that's been going since 1985 and it's still perfect, but it's a bit dated now, so we're looking to get a new one to sort of increase productivity. Well,
good luck on that.
Honestly, it's a fantastic company. I can't stress enough. Proper family-run business. So hats off to you. Well done, Sam. Thank you for getting involved.
Cheers, thank you.
We have another gentleman that's just about, Sam, just about to join us, I believe.
Oh, is there?
I'll just go and grab him, Lindsay.
Okay. Well, this is what happens. This is what these shows are all about. I always say often the word organic. Don't forget, at past, we're going to be going live on a tour, and we're going to get all of that in-depth technology as well.
Okay, this gentleman here, do you want to just tell us who you are and your relationship with Star?
Good afternoon, my name's Iqbal Bahir. I'm the Managing Director of Curvestone Precision. We partner with Star, we buy all our sliding heads from them. Curvestone Precision, we're a global precision engineering company, and we specialise predominantly in the medical and veterinary sector, as well as other safety critical sectors. And our ethos is quality and service, so to underpin this, our strategy has always been to invest in the latest technology, our people and the processes. Hence it's important to partner with people like Star, because we try and stay ahead of the curve when it comes to technology to make us more competitive and our customers more competitive.
Anyone would think you work for Star? That was absolutely superb. Well done. Really good endorsement to hear of the relationship. Now, how long has it been like that? How long have you had Star's machines?
Well, I've been with the company for 4.5 years, but we've had a relationship with Star for well over 20 years. We've been in the sector for over 30 years, so well over 20 years we've had a relationship with Star.
Do you utilise, obviously, the unmanned running factor? Is that something that you practice?
Absolutely. I mean, lights out running is key. We need to be efficient, and we have to pass that efficiency on to our customers, so lights out and unmanned is a must in this day and age.
Anything you've seen here today that you really like?
I've seen a lot of things I can like, whether I can afford them, it's a different matter, but absolutely, we've seen a lot of new technology. And again, that's one of the reasons we're here. We're trying to look at what is the next step for Curvestone Precision.
How long is it? How does it feel to be back at a trade show like this?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, Team and Zoom had its place, but our business is a people business, and face to face, nothing really beats it.
Thank you very much for
joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you have it. So we are going to be back. Let me just check the time. Literally in 15 minutes' time to get technical. We've got Gio talking about some of the machines, Paul talking about the machines. He is so excited. There is going to be no stone unturned. You're going to get absolutely loads of information blasted at you. So be back here in 15 minutes with us on the Star Stand. Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Wednesday of MAC 2022 and we are on the Star Stand again. I feel like I've done this before, Steve.
A bit of deja vu.
Yeah. I'm so glad you changed your outfit.
Likewise, I'm positive you had that on Monday, didn't you?
I didn't. You can check back at the recordings as well. I couldn't ask you this question, Steve, on Monday, but I can ask it you today. What's the gossip? We're on Wednesday.
Well, I've become a taxi driver this week, because certain owners of some channels won't buy their staff car parking passes. I don't know where Paul may be.
That is not true.
No, J3, I've still not managed to go anywhere off the stand, which I think is testament to how the show is. It's been really busy. A lot of interest on the automation side, just generally really, really good.
You know what, Steve? I must say, I'd say about an hour or so ago, I looked around and all of us just said, the aisles are full. There's so many people here. We turned around. This was full because I know you've got the hot dogs. But your stand is heaving. And one of the girls behind the bar said you were surprised how busy it was on Monday, and now look today.
Yeah, no, it has. I mean, a lot of people here, A, for the hot dogs, and B, to read the latest Swarf and Chips magazine. Sorry, newspaper. It's the future, this.
I love this. He's just run off before filming. All right, well, there is that. We'll give that one a plug, but not on yours, Drew. Most popular machine, what would you say, has kind of taken people's fancy?
20J machines, 32Js are always popular for us. A lot of interest in the SX. It's a bit different. And the small, the SL10. So it's been quite a mixed bag, but the 20Js, the 32Js are always our most popular machine.
We've just been speaking in the pre-roll area to Sam Laybourne from Yorkshire Precision. He's really excited to find out about your Step Cut Pro. So has that been something that your customers have been after?
Again, yes. That it's a new technology for us. Other people have this sort of technology already. We're a little bit later to the party with it, but a lot of development work gone in. We're running it, I think, on 4 machines, and yeah, it's got a benefit for our customers.
Right now, so what's different about today is the fact that on Monday stream, which again, it's on our website, you can go back and have a look at it, it's more application driven, whereas now we're going to just look at every single machine, what they've got to offer, any extras. There's going to be no stone unturned on this stream, so make sure you're watching. It's interactive as well, so if you've got any questions, we've literally got technology where it comes through to our ears, so if you've got a question, I know Paul's going to speak to Alex momentarily, but if you've got a question for Alec, then send that question in because we will ask him on the stream. Anything else you want to add before we go and look at your technology?
I'm going to finish reading this.
Whilst eating a hot dog.
Whilst eating a hot dog.
You're going to give me a lift back to later?
Probably.
Thank you very much. Right, over to Paul now. Thanks, Steve.
I could see Steve and Lindsay, but I couldn't hear what he was saying, so I'll have to watch that later. Okay, technology coming up in the next few minutes. We're going to be looking at this SL10 and the SX38 with Alec, and then Gio's going to take a further tour around the stand with Matt Lee. Alec, good to see you again. I really want to dig into the detail of this new machine. Can you explain when it was launched, why it was launched, and what it is?
Yeah, we offer this machine in 2 sizes. There's an SL7 and an SL10. It fills a bit of a gap that we've had in our portfolio for a few years now, and it was basically launched about 6 months ago to the market.
So for those, let's start at the basics really. Small term parts, that's what we're talking, isn't it?
We are, yeah, like sub 10, sub 7.
Okay, now what are the challenges that manufacturers face with those smaller components that you have to consider and that this machine accommodates and solves?
Yeah, several challenges really. Obviously you need a lot of spindle speed. So this machine comes with a 15,000 RPM main spindle and a 12,000 RPM sub spindle. Obviously the tools have got to be in real close proximity to the guide bush. So again, this machine has what we call an interference fit. So you have to put wedges in to just push the tool away ever so slightly.
Is that evident? Can you see that in there if we can get the camera in there?
You couldn't really tell. It's that close. But yeah, so it's 0-0 to the guide bush face, basically is what we say. Obviously, we've added, as an option, we've added this vacuum extraction system on here to make sure that we don't lose any parts in the conveyor system or in the oil as well. And it's a real versatile machine, the SL series, because we've made it so that you can fit lots of different attachments to the main platen and to the sub-spindle platen to make all sorts of different small components.
What sort of industries would you see parts this small in? I mean, there must be a theme that runs.
Yeah, contactors, medical industry, any microscopic type part, this machine would be ideal for that type of application.
Okay, I want to if we could just point at this hip, what is this on the top here, Alec? Can you just maybe explain?
Yeah. We're making a bone screw. We're making it out of stainless steel. Normally you'd make them out of titanium. But in the top position there, we've got a thread wheeling attachment to generate the main screw thread on the bone screw. Below that, we've got a drilling arm. We can have 4 or 6 station drilling arms. All these attachments are cartridge attachments, so we can move them around on the platen to suit the job that we're doing.
On small turn parts, do you not have to worry as well about deflection and things like that when you're machining?
Exactly. That's why the platen tools are so close to the guide bush. So because they're sort of like an interference fit, if you like, there's virtually no distance between the guide bush supporting surface and the tool that's in cut.
And here in the UK, where or how big is this market for small turn parts? I mean, we know from the stream, and this is live on. We're live now, but if you look at Monday's stream, we talked about the 20mm machines being the best selling. How popular would this size be?
We think it's going to be really popular. You know, we've had strong sales already, and the machine's only been out 6 months. So hopefully, it, you know, like I say, it does fill that gap in our portfolio. And obviously more and more people have seen it and have shown very good interest in it here at the show.
And some of these parts are so small you can hardly see them. So maybe now elaborate on this system that you've got for part ejection, because that's a massive factor as well, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously the bone screw that we're doing is 20mm long, so it's quite a big part for this machine. But if it was 10 times smaller, then you could have a problem. Obviously, so they can easily get washed away with the oil when you eject them from the subspindle. So with the vacuum system, every time you eject, it basically sucks the part out, and there is...
Can we see this here? Is this...
Yeah, it's working. What we've got here is it's a separator system as well, so it can improve process control. We've got it set up so it puts one part in one bin, 3 parts in the next bin. So you know when you're doing quality control, you don't want to check every single part. You want to check the last part that it's done, and then you can sort of separate the parts out into good batches. So it's a real...
So it's kind of sucking it out of the machine though, is it?
It's got a vacuum attachment on it. So you can buy this without the separator, with just the vacuum system. And it comes with several different size tubes, so you match the tube to the actual diameter of the part that you're machining, to give you the best possible...
I'm just trying to think of all the things that can go wrong, and I'm sure you've covered them, but what about the parts getting stuck halfway up the tube and things like that?
That's why you've got to match the tube size, and obviously we've put some big curls in the tube to make sure that as it goes round the bends, it doesn't get stuck.
Okay, so the difference fundamentally between the SL10 and the SL7, is that just bar capacity?
Yeah, it's the SL7 is supplied with a different guide bush housing, different collets. It's a sleeve down spindle, and we don't offer it with a part conveyor as standard, whereas the SL10 does come with a part conveyor as standard.
Okay, now we're also going to talk about some of the software elements with your machines as well, Alec. And specifically, we've got NC Assist, Step Cycle Pro and Smoothie. We'll do that now before we move on to the SX38. Okay. I want to know briefly what NC Assist is and how does it help your customers?
NC Assist is our offline programming package. Works on any Windows PC going back 20 years. We've been selling this for an awful long time now, so all the new models that we have, we form the program on NC Assist, which makes it really easy to compile the program. It's all conversational. You know,
graphically based?
Yes, there's graphics in there. Every sort of template has a graphic that supports it, or several graphics to support it. So, you know, it's like an education device as well, really, because it explains a lot of detail about the G-code and M-code systems that we use.
Okay, now we'll talk about Step Cycle Pro when we get across to the SX38. While we're walking across there, I'm going to ask you about Smoothie. And I have pronounced that correctly, haven't I?
You have, yes. Our Star Monitoring and Operating Support System.
Okay, now just tell us what that does. I'm guessing that it's about monitoring the performance of your machine. It's a little bit like the digitisation and leading you into the Industry 4 factor.
Yeah, it does. It's our monitoring system. It can monitor up to 100 machines. You can group machines into cells, into groups. It covers Star machines going back about 20 years. Any machine that's got an embedded board fitted, it can connect into, and it gives you full visibility, basically, of what's been going on in the machine at the current time, and what's been going on in the machine historically as well, because it monitors all the production that goes through the machine.
Now, have you ever done an exercise where you've looked at an older machine and monitored its performance even when it's 10, 15, 20 years old compared to the performance of a machine now? Is that something that you would be able to do? Might be quite interesting to know for a sales perspective when you're talking to a new customer, just how good the longevity is of the machines.
Well, as you know, our machines, if you look after them, they can last 25 years, no problem at all. Everything's running in neat cutting oil, so mechanically, there's not many issues that can occur. As you know, control systems improve, drive system improve, guides improve, so that the speed of the machines is just getting better and better and better. And the functionality of the machines is improving as we add more axes, more capability, more.
Let's move closer to the machine.
More control features.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, is there any way, Alec, we can just get this door open here?
Yeah.
And we're going to take a look inside this new SX38. And if you just, that's perfect. Now, can you just tell us, some machine this, isn't it? It's a lot different to what we just looked at. It's the other end of the scale.
It is. This machine obviously can go up to 42 mil capacity. It's got 10-station turret with its own Z3 axes. It's got independent back working. It's got B-axis.
That turret, I want to talk to you about the differences between the Platen and the turret and when you use one or the other. And just for the camera's sake, this is actually the turret that we're going to be talking about now. Where would you apply that compared to the Platens, which are sort of up here? Turret at the bottom, Platens at the top, Platens also at the back there. Where would you apply one or the other?
Well, to be honest, the back Platen, we need to give us the overlap in the cycle. Okay, so on all sliding head machines with a sub-spindle, you're trying to balance the operation between the main spindle and the sub-spindle to give you the shortest possible processing time. The difference with having the turret and some power tools on the head 1 Platen is obviously the turret's got a lot more power, so you can put bigger attachments in there, take bigger cuts and remove metal more quickly using a tool mounted in the turret rather than the Platen side.
So is this a machine that is highly capable of machining, prismatic parts?
Yeah, the metal removal rates on this machine are fantastic. It's a really powerful piece of kit. It's really stable, it's really robust. And
did it replace another Star machine, or is it where's the development come from?
It's an amalgamation of all the good things from all our other, big sliding head machines, and they've introduced all of these functionality into this SX model, and obviously we're offering it in a Type A and a Type B to our market. And
I did read, there's plenty of videos on our channel that we've done with you and your colleagues on the SX. Just researching for this interview, I went over some of that content, and I heard it was over 80 tools you could possibly have on this machine. That's a phenomenal amount, whether it's exactly that, but there's a lot of tools.
For sure, but obviously the more tools, the more different components you can manufacture. It reduces the setup time because you're not swapping out, individual pieces of carbide for different applications. So, the more tooling stations, the more configurations you got, just makes the machine more versatile, more adaptable for the users.
And what sort of parts would you be making? We talk about high-value, complex parts. Would you say, is that a good example?
Yeah, the capability of this machine makes it ideal for those higher value parts. But big parts, long parts. It's a real capable piece of kit, so it can do it all.
And this is my last question to you on this. Are you eroding into some fixed head territory with this machine? Machines that, maybe twin turret machines, bigger machines like that. Are you taking sales from that area, and is that part of the plan?
I'd like to think so, and it certainly is part of the plan. Obviously, with this machine in non-guide bush mode, we can make parts 42 diameter up to sort of 95 millimetre long. So it does sort of overlap into some of the smaller fixed head capability, but obviously with our machines it's all about reducing the idle time to the bare minimum, and that's where we have easily sort of 5, 10, 15% gain or reduction rather in terms of cycle time compared to fixed heads.
Great stuff, Alec. Brilliant overview of two machines, the SL and the SX. Now I'm going to hand you over to Gio, who's with Matt Lee, who's going to look at more of Star's technology.
I'm now with Matt Lee, and I'm really excited to review another ×6 star sliding head machines, starting with the Sr32 J3 Type B. Matt, great to see you. I can't wait to discover some of the technological advancements that have happened over the last 4 years.
Good to see you well. And yeah, thank you for coming on stand. So yeah, the new J3, I mean, this has been a big seller, so even its predecessor was a good hit on the market, but this one's just taking it to another level. So we've got more power, more tool positions. The Type B is a very flexible machine. Power tools in there, so you can do a lot more milling than you could do before. The advancements in, obviously, power consumption and the new Step Cycle Pro for chipping management, we've come a long way.
Start with milling capabilities. This is something that maybe if you're not a sliding edge user, you may be unaware of. Talk us through the milling capabilities of this machine.
Well, you've got 3 kilowatts of live tool power on the main platoon, so you've got quite a bit of grunt there, and it can take ER20 holders, so you can put a decent sized tool. We've got some customers using this for bar fed milling applications effectively, so it's just a different mindset as from what people traditionally look at for lathes.
So you can do any material with this type of machine tool. You're not limited by hard materials.
No, you could put a lot of different materials through there. We've seen so many different applications. It's incredible what people are doing nowadays.
So complex parts, any materials. Now talk us through this new SCP, Step Cycle Pro. What does this mean and how has that evolved?
Okay, so HFT was our old chip breaking solution, which is great, especially for retrofitting into older machines. Now, Star Japan's been doing a lot of development to try and do something a lot more interesting with this technology. So this is an oscillating chip breaking solution. So basically we can attack lots more materials than we ever did before. But a big game changer, there's no increase in your cycle time.
No increase in cycle time, with this new technology. And it's all about the unmanned running and that confidence to run overnight with this technology, surely, Matt?
Absolutely. Time is money. You want it running all around the clock as much as possible. Having this technology to help with all the horrible materials is going to make a big difference to customers.
Now, talking about saving money, you're also saving another process with this automated solution that's part of this cell. Talk our audience through what's occurring here and how you're saving an inspection process, but also how you're creating a stable process for that unmanned running.
Yeah, so this is a really nice project that Renshaw and Fana could put together along with ourselves. So this is a offline gauging cell, as you can see. So the robot's picking up the part that's come off the conveyor. It goes into the Renshaw equator to do a comparison check. Basically what it's doing is when it does the check, it sees if it's within like a process tolerance. If it isn't, then it'll automatically send the wear offset back to the machine to try and bring it back in. If it goes to a point where it can't keep it within tolerance, then it'll stop the whole process.
So it's keeping the components to mid-tolerance, it's creating that stable process, and it's saving you effectively a process, an inspection process. You can have that peace of mind that the components being produced overnight are going to be produced correctly.
Absolutely, and we can do it in cycle in the machines as well. So obviously not with the equator, but you can put other probe systems inside the machine to check on a part to do exactly the same thing.
Now this is adding value to the machine tool, I think. Now 1 down, 5 to go. So we've still got a lot of work to do. Have you had a good show so far, Matt?
Oh, very good, yeah. My voice is still holding out and my step count's getting bigger.
So my feet are aching a little bit. Now the FMB bar feeder, we'll move on to that shortly, but let's start on the actual machine tool. Now the next machine tool that we're reviewing is the Sr32 J3 Type B. What are the technological advancements with this machine tool, Matt? But firstly, talk us through the actual machine tool and why it differs from the others and what applications does it potentially lend itself to?
Okay, so best way to describe it, this is a baby version of the 32 we just looked at. So again, it's got a lot of tools in there. From its predecessor, it's actually gained quite a bit of weight, so it's an extra half-ton heavier. But not only that, the power difference compared to its predecessor is quite significant. So it's double what it used to be on the power tools, on front and rear. And even like the sub-spindle's got the same power as the main, so you've got a lot of power there. So what that means is, so for customers can do higher material removal rates, they can attack jobs a lot harder than they ever used to. and with obviously the extra tool count, they can do more complex jobs than they previously could do.
So complex parts again, Matt, we're talking milling applications again, you know, any component. And again, some people may assume that sliding head machinery and technology is all about turn parts, but that's not the case. Complex part, mill parts, long parts. Can you also explain how the long part scenario really lends itself to sliding head technology?
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, I've seen parts over 2 meters long being fed through these machines. So basically, the system works so passing the part through the sub-spindle, and it's obviously down to how you handle the part when it comes out of the machine. There's obviously a lot of solutions to do that. It just gives you a lot of options, you know, whether it's short, long, complex, or even simple. There's not much you can't do on one of these.
What I'm gathering, the only limitation is the bar capacity. Now, moving on to the software, I believe, Matt, can you explain, you can actually program the bar feeder through the actual control system now?
Yeah, so on this particular machine, we've installed the FANUC Focus software. So it's talking to the bar feeder, so you can actually do a lot more control from the actual machine. There's a lot more information available, so you can get a more accurate readout on how much material you're using, so you see how many more parts you can get out of the bar stock.
Now, your FMB agents, and they come with the FMB long bar feeder, but this is something new, I believe. The through coolant pressure, is this new, and how important is it to an application?
Oh, this is a fantastic application. Pumps the equipment are a partner with this on this, so they've created this lovely new looking high pressure unit. So basic model is a twin filter, and then they go up in specifications, so they can have one with an auto change filter, great for unattended running, and they also have one that's got a variable frequency drive, which this particular one has, which is a lot better for energy consumption.
Brilliant. Now we've still got 4 to review, 2 down, 4 to go, and I'm seeing that a lot of these machines are sold. Was this sold at the show?
Yeah, this was sold to DKW Engineering, so Cole thanked me for that one. Yeah, they'll be going to have that one in a few weeks' time when we've got the rest of the kit ready for it.
Fantastic news, fantastic news. Now, this machine, the first thing that stands out for me about this machine is the footprint. It's tiny, it's the perfect size for me, in fact, Matt. I mean, getting into this machine, you can really see all of the tool stations. Talk us through this model, the SB20R Type G.
Yeah, the SB's been around a while. It's gone, obviously you can see it's gone through a few different versions. So this is the latest version. Although we say it's entry level, it still can do quite a lot of complex parts. So you've got power tools front and rear, like all the other machines. Its only limitation will be just down to the number of tools and down to the power compared to the SR. But that's why we have the other machines that have more power if the customers need that.
Application specific?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll look at all the parts that the customer's doing, and then we'll recommend which machine we feel is best for the job.
Now, you say complex parts. It's still capable of milling any complex parts. Is it a multi-axis sliding head machine?
Yeah, just like with all the other stars, multi-axis, so there's not much you can't do on one of these. I mean, again, I've seen customers do all sorts of interesting shapes on even on this entry-level machine, even just down to the precise little engraving work as well. You can do a lot with it.
And no limitations on material?
Again, no, it's where you'll find it will be just more down to the complexity of the job. That will be the determining factor.
Complexity
and
of
bar size.
And bar size.
Yeah.
No, Matt, I think that this machine really does speak for itself, and I mean that, you know, in a world where, you know, footprint, you know, and floor space is critical, you know, to get a small machine like this into an engineering company, it is absolutely tiny with all of that capability. Ergonomically, it looks great. If you were setting the machine or putting new tools in, you can visually see how easy this would be to achieve.
You want to take it home? You've got a trailer?
This would fit nicely in my garage. 3 down, 3 to go. We're getting through these quite nicely. Now, I can see this lightsaber here, I believe. Some of the components that are produced on here are fantastic, and this really illustrates the capabilities of all of these machines. This wasn't in the script, but talk us through quickly some of the components and some of the complex components.
Well, a lot of the complex components are actually inside the unit. There's a light switch, a heat sink. So, you know, we really went to town on this. And I'll just take it apart a little bit. So it's got all the insides there. But yeah, it's been a challenge, all different machines. SB20, SR32, SR38, SX38. So we really went to town and used all the machines in our arsenal to be able to make this part.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So there you have it. I'm loving these projects from Star, and I'm sure that your clients love the giveaways too, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're pretty awesome.
This machine looks like it's getting some attention straight away. This is quite nice, Matt. We get to see in the back of the machine. Can you explain what the camera is looking at?
So this is the business end of it all. So this is the sliding headstock here, and that's where all material goes through that side of things. And that's where the money starts getting made.
Okay, let's go to the front end then, Matt. We're walking through now to the front end of this machine. Now, this is the Sr32 J3 Type A. We've already reviewed the Type B. For people that are not familiar with Star machines, what's the difference between Type A and Type B?
So on this particular model, it's purely just down to the number of tools for the sub-spindle. So the Type B that you already saw, that had 8 tools with a Y-axis. This one has no Y-axis, but it's only got 6 tools. So again, it's down to the complexity of the job that will determine which version the customer will go for.
So effectively, Matt, the Type B's got more capabilities.
Yep, absolutely.
So if you were doing simpler parts that didn't require the amount of tools, you would most likely go for the Type A unless you were future-proofing your business.
Exactly that, yeah.
But if you were making your own parts, the Type A would be perfect, I assume.
Yeah, that's it, exactly that, yeah.
Any other features or add-ons that you can have with this particular model? Again, I'm loving the ergonomics. I'm loving the big window. Talk us through some of the added benefits. I know we've already reviewed the Type B, but anything else that I've missed?
Yeah, so one of the key things on the J3 on both versions is a sub-spindle flushing pump, and it's standard now. So before you'd need a high-pressure pump to do that. So basically, they clean out the sub-spindle in between each kind of operation to keep everything nice and clean. The other thing, we've got more light inside the machine, so it's great for operators to see what they're doing, which is always a benefit. The other thing is, well, we've got a jig in there which has been upgraded from the previous generation of this machine to make going between guidebush and non-guidebush a lot quicker and easier.
Well, thanks for that, Matt. And also, it looks quite a beefy machine. What about the weight and the torque of the spindles?
Yeah, so this is a hefty machine. It comes in just over 4 tons. It's very heavy.
And I believe I've got a part that someone's passed me in my hand. It's a bit tricky. Can you talk us through that part?
Yeah, you can see this. It's a great part. You see the amount of material that's been taken off. Obviously, you can see like the milled features, a lot of turning. You see the surface finish of the part as well. So this is part of one of our giveaways, the Sr32 D2. So you'll get to see the finished product a bit later on.
Brilliant stuff. Really looking forward to that, as I'm sure our audience is looking forward to that. We're rattling through this machine. We're rattling through these machines as we have to. I've got to say, your stand looks absolutely fabulous, as always. Now we're moving on to the Sr20 R4 Type B. Again, another long FMB bar feeder on this. This machine looks like it's getting some serious interest, as all of your machines have been during the week. What a fantastic show it's been. It's great to be back at Matt, but let's review the Sr20 R4 Type B. I hope we haven't scared off any potential customers there, Matt.
Well, I didn't see any checkbooks, so I think we're right for a minute. So yeah, this is a B-axis machine, 20mm bar capacity. Well, actually, we'll go to 7/8 bar of an oversized kit. You see the part okay in there? So yeah, you see there's not much turning involved here, so that's what we're saying about a different mentality of like how to approach parts. You can make it out a round bar, you've got enough tools to do it, why not mill it and make it in one hit?
I'm loving that as an example. I can remember when I was in the aerospace industry and you're doing families of parts that repeat all the time, prismatic parts. If it's within the diameter of the bar, effectively it's not a turning machine, it's a milling machine.
Yeah, I've got customers that are using our machines as a bar-fed mill.
Bar-fed mill, so there you have it. You've got to think out the box with some of these applications, man.
And that's it. It's all about having a look at, if you've got enough tools and you can pick it up on the sub-spindle, there's a fair chance we can make it in one hit.
Okay, start telling me about some of the USPs of this machine. Why would I choose this machine over some of the other sliding head machines? And I also want to touch upon the B-axis, CNC controlled B-axis. When you're looking to make a complex milled part such as that, how important is a CNC controlled B-axis?
That's a fantastic bit of kit. So It allows customers to do multiple angles. They can do or features that they need to do one other part. So having this technology will allow customers to do some really complex parts, or even just having it to do face working. It means they're not having to put a different tool holder in. They can just get it go from cross to face, where the angles in between very easily.
And how accurate is that B-axis in regards to the increments that it can rotate?
So on this CNC controlled version, you're talking fractions of a degree. We do a manual version of Type A, which is obviously the manual setting on that one. It's not as accurate to set as obviously the Type B that you've got here. This just makes life a lot easier.
And when we've talked about complex parts, and we've looked at the Star Saver with a very long part on there. But say, for example, you had longer parts than that. Can these machines facilitate them being bar fed through the other end?
Yeah, all of them are now. So there's a panel at the back of the machine. We should take that out. We take the ejector mechanism out the back of the sub spindle, and then we just keep on rechucking and passing the part through the sub spindle out the back of the machine.
You're quite renowned for the speciality project work that you do, and the skill levels internally at Star. How important is this? The products speak for themselves, but how important is the knowledge behind the products?
Oh, massively so. We've got some top class engineers and a lot of respect for them. They know so much and they play around. I mean, testament is more like down to the ingenuity of coming up with these kind of things. This is down to them. They're very clever engineers.
Matt, brilliant. Great review on the SR20R4. Now, I'm a bit sad, really. We're coming to the end of our reviews. And again, another machine that's getting interest straight away. I don't really want to interrupt this. This looks quite important. And another sold sign, Matt. You see, it seems like you're selling a lot of machines.
Business is good. We're always happy to have more.
Now, talk us through this machine. What's different about this machine? What applications does it lend itself to? What technological advancements does this machine offer to your end users?
Okay, so the SW range is twin platen technology. So on the main spindle, you've got two independent plans, so you can do balance turning, balance milling. It just enables users to take a lot more material out, but not only that. Excuse me while I open the door.
It's all right.
If you've got high volume work and you've got the right features for it, this machine will just eat through it, no problem at all.
Explain in more detail. What do you mean? How is that achieved?
So, because you've got two tools either side of the material on the main spindle, it just means you can reduce the amount of cutting time. So if you're doing a balanced turn, obviously you can take a lot more material out in one go. If you're, say, for milling a hexagon, it's only 3 passes because you've got two tools cutting at the same time. But then also you've got a sub-spindle with its own tooling pattern doing all the back-end work.
I mean, the camera's in there at the minute. There's a lot of technology in such a very small envelope. Where do you even start with programming a machine like this?
Yeah, well, you can program on the machine if you so desire, like some people do. There's our own offline programming softwares like NC Assist and PU Junior. There's also CAD-CAM systems out there that have developed for this kind of technology to take it to another level again.
And again, with all of the Star machines, you've got the chip breaker technology now available. These machines are money-making machines, you know, with automation built in with the bar feeder. Give us some case studies or examples and success stories of end users. I've spoke to one today that's come onto the stand that have not used Star sliding head technology yet, but are looking to get into this technology. Why should they?
Yes. Anything that will make you more money, whether it's through time saving or capability, it's got to be worth looking at. So we've taken customers that have taken from like parts from traditional lathes, put the part onto here. We can make the part a lot faster, so it's giving the customer more margin. But not only that, it will give customers options to do more complex parts than they might have to do on multiple machines.
Matt, it's a good point. I've really enjoyed reviewing these machines with you today. I wish I had longer to review them more. Matt, thank you very much and good luck for the rest of the show.
Very much, my pleasure. Thank you.
Great job, Gio and Matt. Just comparing Gio and the Star sliding head lathes, he's compact, agile and doesn't sleep, and I think that's a fair comparison to make. What's going on here? Are our rusks and wafers not good enough for you on our stand?
Yeah, Steve feeds me.
Resort to a
He
hot
gives
dog.
me a lift in. He feeds me.
Would you believe it?
You're going to have to give me a moment. Cause
What a fantastic stream. Of course, Mac 2022 is open right the way through till Friday. You can come here to this hall and see this star stand and see this technology in action.
It's definitely worth it as well with the hot dogs. Can I just say, just behind the scenes, because of course you see what we're showing you, but you don't see everything that actually goes on the stands. And see, if you just turn the cameras here, Steve over here, everyone's chatting, is speaking to customers.
What about what's going on behind you? There's a guy waving the old Star Sabre.
They've got the Star Sabre in the background. They're looking at, there's customers looking at machines over here. If we just whiz across to this side, look, there's more customers over here. Over here, I don't think there is a single machine here that isn't being looked at, that's not been explored. And I just think, you know, you keep talking about the engineering excellence that Star have, and I told Steve yesterday, all the case studies that we go out to, people rave about their service and their support. So what is it, Paul, that is either happening in industry, or why people are coming back to this stand time and time again?
The machines are evolving so quickly. They're so capable now. They're so versatile. And of course, that matched and coupled with everything that we've seen in the last two streams that we've done, their ability to create a solution for a customer. And not just create it and hit the deck running, but for a continual long period of time, you know, to tolerance, to great surface finishes and stuff like that. You know, these machines are real workhorses, but Star will provide that engineering support and excellence, as we call it, to really make a solution for you. You've
just said the word workhorse, and I think ethos comes from the top, and I'm not just trying to say it, but Steve is there, he's talking to customers. You know, he could hide behind the scenes a little bit here and push the sales guys forward and stuff, but he's just not doing that. And I'm not just saying
some people at our place.
That's what it is. But he's not doing that at all. He's speaking to the customers. They all get involved, and it just shows that they've got that support all the way through the whole business. And of course, they've got their showrooms in Derby as well to go and see.
Yeah, I think if you replicate what you see here, you can go to Derby, to their headquarters, and actually see these machines in action. And of course, the team that are here are always on hand to talk
really
to you and support you as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've got our podcast coming up. It starts earlier today.
3:30, live from the MTD CNC stand. We're in Hall 19, stand 527, so you can come and watch that podcast. And yes, we'll be live on the stand. Oh, I've just been told it's 4 o'clock.
It's 4 o'clock. I did think, but I wasn't going to say anything because you're the boss. So yeah, 4 o'clock, we're going to be starting that. Look, all of our streams, I've said it so many times, they are live. Get the messages in, including the podcast. Send those messages. Look, if we have a guest and you have a question for that guest, we can literally get that into into our earpieces, and we will ask whomever we're interviewing, the shout outs, the likes, just get involved. We want as much interaction as possible. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this, and we're going to see you a little bit later on the podcast, and I'm going to continue. Do you want some, Paul, or do you want No, you don't eat this?
Back to our rusks and wafers.
You go back to your rusks and wafers, and I'll eat these.